And welcome back to another episode of the Striped Sweater Podcast, where the best time to listen is all the time, and the best time to watch is right now, because I'm Zach Main.
And I'm Alexander Beardsley, and together we are the Striped Sweater Podcast.
Or as you may know us as, Resident Tough Guys, Best Friends, Bikini Bottom Bad Boys, Turtley Radicals.
Indeed. We're back again for another riveting episode of the Striped Sweater Podcast, where myself and Zach, you may or may not know this. Actually, there's like nobody who subscribes to us on YouTube. So, hey, guess what? This is actually a video podcast.
What?
And it's on YouTube right now. So if you are listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to the Striped Sweater Podcast, why don't you do us a favor and go ahead and check out our YouTube channel where you can watch us talk to you.
Do you guys like dramatic sunglasses being taken off? Because it's already happened.
Otherwise, you'll never know about that if you don't check it out on YouTube. And hey, while you're there, might as well subscribe for more great content in the future.
Just smash that subscribe button.
Smash it.
Absolutely smash the crap out of it.
But you might be asking yourself, what are you guys doing on video? I don't want to listen. I don't want to watch you talk to me. I just want to listen. Well, it's a very special episode, as we have just recently come to a close of season 1 of SpongeBob SquarePants.
That's right. One whole season, 20 weeks in a row with no break.
40 episodes total.
41.
41, good call. Reef Blower is the 41st.
Yep.
For those keeping score at home.
Yeah, from the very first episode.
And we're on what was I gonna say about
You're getting camera shy, bud.
what was I gonna say about
You were gonna say, what the heck are we doing here?
well, I already said that. So then
we tell you it's very special. We just thought this might be a cool little thing for you guys to see. And if you do like it, maybe check us out on Patreon too, where we have a wide range of fabulous rewards. Tell them what they've won, Alex.
Well, what you can have, should you choose to become a patron, patron
saint.
At the $1 tier, we offer the honorary town rookie membership, which doesn't really get you too much, but it supports us, and you get added to our Facebook page on the supporters list. So everyone will know you are a faithful supporter of the Striped Sweater Podcast.
And it is very special because you'd be the only one.
Yeah,
Don't sell it short.
You can be the first one. They need to know that they're not really getting anything for $1. But $3 will get you the Goofy Goober tier, which will get you a shout out, a personal shout out on a month's worth of Striped Sweater Podcast episodes, where we will call you out by name, and you can give us a silly name if you want. That might be fun. Like we give ourselves names every episode, Have fun with it, gang.
And not only that, if you leave us a special message, we will say it live on the show.
Yeah.
As long as we don't go to jail for it.
Yeah, indeed. And at the $5 level, our top level as of right now, you can become a Bikini Bottom Badass, where you get every episode 1 week in advance, as well as the previous tiers rewards. So what are you waiting for? Get on it. Let's get some Patreon people, y'all.
Yeah. So usually with Patreon, we put in some extra special stuff that the regular listeners and viewers don't get to see. But I don't know. Are we going to give this to everyone?
It doesn't matter. Let's just do it, and we'll fix it. Well, Kid Rock, a great man named Kid Rock once said, sipping whiskey out the bottle. It doesn't fit with a good man sips whiskey out of the
Carved
bottle.
in stone, many years ago, there was a man who imprinted a message that could change the world forever.
It's been a tradition of ours since the very first episode to take a drink of an alcoholic beverage before we record, which maybe isn't the most professional thing to do in the world. But hey, we're not really professional guys, are we? We're having fun.
Everyone in the local Detroit area is an alcoholic.
It's kind of, yeah, I mean, we love
We're
alcohol here.
Yeah. It's just part of the culture. But what do we have here? Oh.
Whoa, what's that?
What?
Did someone just... Oh, thank you.
Thanks, guy who was using my hand to hold it. So yeah, we're just going to take a sip of wild turkey, rye.
On the air. I like rye. That's what I brought.
He's a rye guy.
Originally. I'm a rye guy. But
He's
not...
a Ryback fan.
But not, not that kind of rye guy. So cheers, gang.
To the child of rock himself.
My name is Child.
Child.
Cheers, gang.
Ball with the ball. Holy cow. Don't try this at home,
Did
folks.
I take a lot? I had to look tough for the viewers. Oh boy, it tastes really good actually.
Great,
I'm at that
good choice.
I'm at that point in my life where alcohol tastes good to me. I never thought that day would come, but here we are. Even if it
He'll
burns
get it anywhere
everything.
he can drink it, even out of a dog's mouth.
So you're probably asking yourself, since we didn't really explain, what the frick are you guys going to talk about this week? Well, we're going to talk about season 1. We're going to go over some of our favorite moments and chat with maybe open up some fan mail and things of that nature. So it's just kind of a fun little bonus episode to tide you over until we start season 2 next week. Oh boy.
It is a season in review.
And season 2, oh boy, that's going to be fun. You're going to want to smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that one.
But we'll go over that later. That's just a thing that we do now. We tell people to smash the buttons.
That's part of the gimmick now.
So first, I thought it'd be good if we talked about some of the things that happened in the last season. I think as a whole, we kind of found more structure in the way that we're going to have our episodes and kind of found our groove. I think it's been real, but I think we can make it even better.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think things are only going to get better. Neither of us were ever on a podcast before, or at least didn't have our own podcast. Like we did that radio show that one time, which is kind of like a podcast.
Oh, right.
But we've never really been on a podcast before, so it was a learning experience, and we've come a long way though. I feel that we've both gained some gusto, some confidence, and I only see it getting better, and it's been a pleasure. I really like reviewing things. That's in general, that's kind of like a thing that I've always done. And to get to do it for SpongeBob every episode is really cool, So, and, thank you all that are watching, and thank you those of you who have listened, because it's awesome. And I want to keep doing it, and I'd like to do it for more things. I really want to talk about Real Monsters because I haven't seen it since I was a kid. Did I tell you that already?
No, I don't think so.
I really like to review that. It's only like 3 seasons too. We could breeze through it, but that is for you, Patreon people, the patrons. You will be allowed to vote on what our next cartoon will be when that time comes.
Right. I mean, I might even be partial to Jimmy Neutron.
I wouldn't mind doing Jimmy at all, and I would like to do Jimmy Neutron the movie as well, because that's a big one. And he recently made an appearance on our podcast.
What do you mean?
James Isaac Neutron was
recently
was in episode 20 of... I mean, an appearance, if you can call it that. But he made a cameo in season 20 the episode Hooky.
Yep.
Having trouble talking. That's okay, though. It's hard to talk,
Yeah.
Life is hard.
So I think we cracked open a lot of cool ideas about the show too. We talked about the way that SpongeBob runs to his house and to work. We talked about all the secrets of Mr. Krabs and the greediness and the just kind of really got into some of the characters, I think, and found what they do, like how Patrick instigates and SpongeBob follows and things like that.
Yeah,
I think that's been good.
And I think those are things that we all kind of subconsciously knew all along, but never really like put thought into it.
Yeah,
and that's what's so fun about this podcast is like really analyzing and thinking, you know, Patrick is peer pressuring SpongeBob. Like, and he does that all the time. It's like it's totally part of his character, you know? But sometimes
we've opened some conspiracy theories as well,
sure,
I think.
Sure.
Some things that might happen.
Like what? Do you have anything in mind that we came up with? Or are you just talking in general, conspiracy theories that we've been able to add fuel to?
Yeah, I mean, kind of both. I'm trying to think. There's definitely been some where I'm trying to think, but there's just like a lot of weird stuff that happens, and I try to justify it in one way, and it's like, oh, well, maybe. And it's like I'm just kind of.
It's true, yeah, and that's really fun to do too, you know. And I assume some of you out there listening and watching probably have opinions of your own. So feel free to send us an email at
stripesweaterproductions@gmail.com. Wow, that was a good jingle.
Man,
so,
we're really good at making songs. Did you know, fun fact, all the original songs, including the theme song and the outro song, were made by us too, separately. He did the outro, I did the intro.
Yep.
We're talented sons of guns. No, you know, you don't have to, you know, you don't have to write us fan mail, but you probably should because we're pretty cool.
It's okay to be impressed.
It's not, yeah. Don't feel weird about it. It's fine.
Just kidding.
Yeah, we're actually a couple of dumb idiots. That's the reality of it.
If you look at the top of the list, we're the most humblest on the top of the humble list. Just so you're aware. Sometimes people say that we're so incredibly humble for geniuses. But I thought that this would be great too if we just picked our top 3 episodes from the last season and just call them out real quick.
And I just want to say real quick that Zach was just making a reference to The Lonely Island, which is something that we reference almost every single episode at least once, sometimes twice. If you don't like The Lonely Island, do yourself a favor and start liking them.
Because we've just realized that SpongeBob lives under a lonely island. Indeed.
There is a lonely island in the show.
Yeah, so we only drop references to keep with the theme.
Exactly.
You know,
it's all thematic. We're actually, like you said, like geniuses, but we're very humble. So, you know, just subscribe to us on Patreon.
Turn up the beef. So,
doink to doink.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
For our top 3 favorites from season 1?
Yeah.
Can you see that I'm growing out my mustache?
Not really.
It's been like 2 weeks. Like, give it time, pal. I've literally never grown it out before, but I'm like, my tag team partner, No Good Neil Gerard, which I would argue that there is good in that man's heart. We're tag team champions at MCPW, you know, Northern Michigan. It's not that big of a deal. Actually, it's a huge deal. Look up MCPW. You can get all their events online. Follow Mikey Zero, the promoter, all over Facebook and Instagram and stuff because he's really cool. And I know he listens to every episode, so that one's for you, Mikey.
Yeah, so he's got a mustache, so he gets to go first.
No Good Neil Gerard has a mustache, a beautiful mustache. All the ladies in the room want to kiss him as soon as he walks in, and I want to get there. That's all I'm trying to say.
He wants to kiss him.
Since we're tag team partners, it only makes sense that we should kiss all the girls together.
When we were tag team partners, you never got fat.
It's true. You never got skinny either.
Looks like
You
that's
kinda-
why we didn't work out.
I guess you kind of did. I don't know if you were skinnier back then or not, but you did like you used to be bigger than you are now, right?
for sure.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
I haven't really regressed.
You haven't gone back, but
Yeah.
you kind of
I plateaued a little bit.
yeah, mesa'd, if you will.
Yeah. But I'm
But that's okay. We all do it. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
in the best shape I've ever been in. I used to be in much better shape.
I would say the things I eat now are the healthiest I ever have, and I think it's starting to show.
Yeah, and I mean that's great, you know. You got a good job, you know. You can take care of yourself a little bit better because that's how it is. I mean, I don't have the best job in the world, and I eat like shit sometimes still, even though I'm a vegan and I try to take care of myself. Theoretically, if it's a vegan's shit, it would be vegan. So I just eat my own
Yeah,
poop.
but isn't it a product of like a being?
But it doesn't harm them in any.
What if it does?
Well, if it was extracted by violent means, then it would be a problem. I don't actually
That's a
eat
good
poop,
name
guys.
of a wrestler. Violent means.
Violent means.
Okay.
But we
Don't-
should move on.
Yeah, don't say anything else unless it's your top 3 favorite episodes of season 1.
Okay, so I'm gonna list off my top 3 favorites. I guess I'll do it in order because there is an order to this. Those of you who are avid listeners will know that
Start with 3.
you already know what my favorite is. I've gone on record and said my favorite episode of all time of this show is this, which
But-
you will hear in 1 second. Don't be a dummy.
I thought you were gonna blow the spot.
I'm not. Gosh, this guy, he just thinks I don't know anything.
Friggin' Marks.
So number 3 would be Tejas, Texas. That's how Mexican people would say Texas, Tejas.
Oh, Spanish.
Well, no, I mean that's how
Well, I guess both.
Mexicans would talk about Texas. It's true, both. But Mexican people,
Unless they
Like
speak
Texas.
English, then they would say Texas.
El Paso, Texas, home of Eddie Guerrero.
Where the lasso is also from?
The lasso is also
From El Paso?
from El Paso. And
why is it your favorite?
Texas was great
third?
for a lot of reasons. Yeah, it's not my all-time favorite. It's my top 3.
For plenty of reasons.
It's just really solid. It's late in the season where things are really starting to like pick up and the groove is being found, you know, by the writers and the animators and everything.
And the Emperor.
They're getting really creative and you know, Sandy is awesome because she's like an antagonist, but she's also the one that you're sympathizing with. And SpongeBob and Patrick are antagonists in a way. It's just a very well-written episode. And it's got some excellent gags in it, like the mushroom cloud, which our pal Trevor was super into. And I was as well. And I think we all were because it was
Yes.
great.
Hilarious.
And Texas. It's just
Just a gaggle of gags.
It's A1 stuff. And you got some guest up here. Guest musician in Junior Brown.
Come on.
I
Voice
mean-
of a generation.
And I said this on the original episode. Junior Brown plays a guitar that on top it's a double neck guitar. Top it's a regular guitar, and bottom it's a slide guitar. Slide guitar. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
I've never played one, so I don't really know. But
Man,
that's
regular Brown must be very proud of him.
Yeah, Senior Brown.
Yeah.
No, I mean, really good stuff. My second favorite episode from this was a bit of a sleeper for me. Not one I was expecting. I know, right?
Not sleepy time.
Not sleepy time. I know what you're thinking. But
Gotcha. Hope spot.
it was a bit of a sleeper
False hope.
for me, where I didn't really recall that I loved this episode until we watched it together, and that would be ARG, the board game episode where Mr. Krabs becomes a pirate captain and becomes a psychomaniac looking for treasure. So many memorable gags from this episode. Mr. Krabs is really like, I think this is the first time he's like the full-blown villain of an episode. And it's funny because that's something I never really noticed about SpongeBob is that almost anybody can be a villain, you know? Even the good
Even
guys.
Sandy.
Right.
Even SpongeBob.
Patrick. Like they can all
Mr. Krabs.
depending on the episode, you know, they're such well developed characters, and that's what I've said this before and I'll say it again. When you have good characters, you know, it just the show makes itself great. Like characters are what we're all after, and the characters here are so developed from day one. And in ARG, we get a really interesting look at Mr. Krabs, and we get some awesome gags. So I loved that one. And my all-time favorite, which some of you listening already know, would be, drum roll.
Hopefully I didn't mess up the whole recording.
Ripped Pants. That probably did sound weird as fuck, if I had to guess. I'm not wearing headphones, so I don't know. But Ripped Pants is my all-time favorite episode of the show. I've gone on record saying that. It holds a very special place in my heart. On the DVD, Nautical Nonsense and Sponge Buddies, which this is what the cover looks like.
For the audio listeners, he motioned to a graphic.
Just check it out on YouTube, guys. Come on, if you just do it. You know. Anyway,
just wait till we get to the visual gag portion of the podcast.
Yeah, there's going to be some fun visual stuff. So let's have fun. What are you doing? Are you juggling?
Play Bring Me to Life. You know.
Can't wake up. I don't actually know what you're doing. I'm sorry.
Late season, the last season of The Office when
don't know.
Will Ferrell takes over. You didn't watch The Office, or?
I've seen a lot of episodes, but I haven't seen every episode. And I sure as shit have not seen the last few seasons.
I just did that last year. But anyways, was there more you wanted to say about it?
Yeah. On Nautical Nonsense and Sponge Buddies, that DVD was one of quite a few SpongeBob DVDs that I owned when I was younger. But that was the first one to ever come out. I watched it obsessively for years. And Ripped Pants was the first episode on that DVD. So I've seen it more than any other episode by far. It just means a lot to me, and it has a lot of sentimental value. And I was talking to my mom about SpongeBob, and she doesn't have the greatest memory ever or anything, but she does remember that episode, and she even said that was probably her favorite as well, which doesn't mean that much, but to me, it means something, and it's something that we can share together involving SpongeBob. So that's really cool. That being said, there's really no bad episodes in season 1 or 2 or 3, but season 1 is what we're talking about. So
we talked about some that let us down, but
there's a handful
that
were
good.
Like not up to the same level as the rest, but that doesn't mean they're bad by any means. They just weren't as strong as the rest, and it's hard to do when every episode is a banger, Yeah,
I mean, the show has to have some mid-card and some jobbers.
It's true. And so that does it for me. What about you, Zach? What are your top 3 favorite episodes from season 1?
I thought we weren't gonna rank them in order.
You don't have to. I just did for fun.
Order. I mean, I would just say that I love so many of them.
You really could do like a top 20.
Yeah.
And it would be hard.
It'd be every episode except one.
Right.
Oh, well, no, it'd be half.
Or 21, I should say.
So I would say definitely no order. Pizza delivery. Had a huge impact on me. The Krusty Krab. All that stuff.
I love pizza delivery.
So good. Didn't even know it was the original pilot idea for the longest time.
Right, yeah, that was a fun bit of trivia we discovered.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that. Number 2, jellyfish jam. I don't know why, but it was one that I liked to watch, but I really didn't remember everything to it, and just watching it again, it was like, oh, bum 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 bum. It was like, oh man, this is just fun. This is fun times. And then number 3. This one's tough because there's so many. I would say ones that I'm passing up on would be... we did actually record this one more time, and it was it didn't work out, so we're doing it again.
Yeah, this is our second take on this episode of the podcast.
I said rock bottom because that's one of my favorites for sure.
Rock bottom is top tier.
There were more jokes in there than I remembered, but I think I'm gonna have to switch it up. I would give it an honorable mention with SB129, Muscle Bob Buff Pants, Fun. All of those are super classic. Pickles, definitely.
Even Hall Monitor, dude.
The one I'm gonna choose is Karate Choppers.
No way.
Mainly because of the line, do you think Mr. Krabs ever does karate?
That was a fun inside joke for you and your friends?
Yes. And just the whole episode's really good as well.
It is. It's extremely solid. You
the
get
joke about the squirrel and the tin cans.
Yeah.
Tin
Tans, yeah. You get a little bit of a villainous side from Mr. Krabs. You get a little bit of a peer pressure-y villainous side from Sandy. And you get, this is like the real, even though they had done karate kind of when they first met in Tea at the Tree Dome, this was like the origin of like, these guys love karate, dude. Like, it is like top level interest in their life.
And fun.
And fun as frick. And we also see a fisherman in that episode, which is fun and funny. Fishing in a river, an underwater river, which those do exist, actually, so...
So that does it for that portion of the podcast. I think we are taking a little bit of time. This one is definitely not going to be nearly as long as our other episodes. But I do think it's time to move on to the next portion of our podcast, which is... We're going to talk about...
Mail time.
Well, the next thing we're going to do is talk about the future and what's to come in the next season. But we're going to take a small break to answer some fan mail.
Mail time.
So somebody...
Right? Isn't that it? You made a reference to Blue's Clues.
Here's the mail that never fails. Well, yeah, I was going to say, we just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
Yeah.
Oh, look. It's a message from our friends. And it's always a message from their friends.
Who's this one from?
I don't know. There's no name on the outside.
Okay.
Brand new and opened.
Snail mail. I love it.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, Gary delivered this.
Yeah, snail mail. Oh, good. It's something we can work with. It's actually a two-part question from longtime fan Ryan Reddington.
Okay. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. So... yeah, it says that there's two parts. I mean, the beginning just is about, oh, I love you guys so much. You guys are the best SpongeBob podcast I've ever listened to in my entire life of being a person.
Thanks, dude. Good word choice as well.
Yeah. And then he talks about, if I had one night with you, we'll skip over that part.
Yeah.
But then he gets into a two-part question. He gets into a two-part question, so I think it'd be good if we each answer one of these. Or no, we'll each introduce it. I'll ask the first one, you ask the second one. Okay, so the first one says, how did you lovely, sweet, innocent, sexy boys get into the world of podcasting?
All right, Ryan. Well, thank you for the kind words. As I mentioned earlier in this episode, neither of us had ever done podcasts before this. This was our first one, but it's a medium that I've been a fan of for a good number of years now, and it's something I've kind of always wanted to do. I don't know if I ever told... well, I mean, I told you, but I never said it on the show, but podcasts are what indirectly got me into wrestling. To doing wrestling. Yeah.
Well, no. not even just the show. I mean, to seeing, like, when I would see all the wrestlers interviewing people, I'm like, wow, it's not too late, and anyone can do it if they put in hard work and effort. Like,
Colt Cabana's podcast, The Art of Wrestling, was really big for me. That was the original one. The original one that I was like, holy shit, podcasts are awesome, dude. So The Art of Wrestling was...
huge.
The main one that really got me into podcasting, and it really for a while it was all wrestling podcasts for me. But more recently I've delved into other things. There's literally podcasts about everything, and When you're a person who has multiple interests, it's just like a no-brainer. Like, yeah, I'm going to listen to Retronauts because I love retro video games. I'm going to listen to the Simpsons podcast because I love Talking Simpsons, which was a big inspiration for me personally in doing this podcast. But we initially had hung out it must have been back in December or November even, maybe. I remember I had just broken my toe. So it was November or December. And we hung out.
We didn't hang out a lot, too.
Yeah, at this point, we hadn't hung out for a long time. I was just kind of, for a while, we used to tag team together and things, and we were hanging out a good amount, and then we kind of stopped for a while.
Not really outside of shows, though.
Right. We were always best friends at shows. Like, whenever we would be at shows together, it was like we just kind of zipped to each other, no matter what. And it was weird because I remember when I first started going to shows, I'm getting off topic, but when I first started going to shows that you weren't on and stuff, it was like, I don't have anyone to talk to. And it felt weird, like, because we would always click together, you and I.
Right.
And Matt Hagen, too. Shout out to our friend Matt Hagen, the Hyena. Look him up. Follow him on Instagram and stuff. The Hyena Matt Hagen. He's a cool dude. But I'm off topic. Let's get back on to the podcast topic.
So we were hanging out, and it was a long night, and we were having some fun, having some good old times, and watching some SpongeBob. And there was a point where I stopped the episode we were watching, and I must have talked for at least 20 to 40 minutes on a still image, just explaining what I had seen and the absurdity of what it is.
Your thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, and it is the health inspector episode. So when that one comes, we already have a lot to say.
Yeah, that's a special episode for us, for sure.
But I think that, like, and you were just, like, having a good old time as well.
I was, like, cracking up at the shit this guy was saying, and I was like, this is entertaining. This is entertaining, straight up. Like, people would watch this if they, or listen to it if they had the option to. So that was kind of the idea. And then I had been listening to Talking Simpsons a bunch, and I was thinking, dude, we could do the same kind of thing for SpongeBob. If you're a fan of The Simpsons, I highly recommend checking that podcast out as well.
But we're both into computers and technology and recording and all sorts of things. So some of the technology stuff just came really easily, and how to upload podcasts and get all that together. And we thought it was a great idea, and here we are. And 21 weeks later.
And honestly, Ryan, it's not that complicated to do. You could start a podcast today if you wanted to. You don't have to buy the most expensive equipment, the nicest stuff in the world. You just have to have something to talk about. And
you just have to do it.
And you have to do it. You have to go for it.
I think we answered the first question pretty good. I think that we should move on to the second.
So Ryan Reddington also asks, I'm a huge fan of professional wrestling. How would a sweet, innocent lad such as myself get a start in the business? Well, I already kind of, we in the wrestling business just call it the business. And we all got that from Triple H. He always says, in this business. That's like his catchphrase practically. Yeah. Anyway, we kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but hey, go to wrestling school. That is the one and only way to break into the business.
Nobody's ever gone to the WWE without some sort of professional training. I would like to think.
Well, if you go to the WWE, even if you've never technically been professionally trained, which there are those people out there who backdoor their way in, and some of them end up being very good. It's not to say that there's anything wrong with it, but there is, because it is the wrong way to do it.
And you have to work twice as hard to
stop
the things that you thought were made sense that actually don't.
Exactly. When it comes to wrestling, I guess really I shouldn't say there's a right and wrong to it, because there's not. Wrestling can be whatever you want it to be, and that's what's beautiful about it. But you do have to do it the right way, and the right way to break into the business is to go to wrestling school. We both highly recommend going to the House of Truth Wrestling School. If you are anywhere in our area, in the state of Michigan, it is the top school to go to.
However, there's another school in the area
There's
that's also a great choice.
There's another school that's nearby, although it's across the border, so that might be a little sketchy for some people.
Except for Canadians.
Unless you are Canadian, which I think like 1% of our audience is. So if you're a Canadian person listening to this and you want to be a pro wrestler, Can-Am Wrestling School in Windsor, Ontario, which I know is run by Scott D'Amore, who has obviously very heavy ties to the promotion Impact in Orlando, Florida. So that's a great place to start. And a good friend of mine, John, capital letter E period Bravo, is one of the trainers there. He's also a referee and personality at Impact Wrestling. So that's a great place to go as well if you have the means. That being said, do a Google search. Because there's wrestling schools all over the place. Some of them are legit. Some of them are not. Do your research. And, the rest will kind of fall into place for you. That being said, wrestling professionally is not for everybody. Just because you love watching wrestling or you think you'd be good at it doesn't mean you are going to be good at it. And that's a harsh reality of the whole thing.
I've been through a lot of situations where I'm with people who think, or I think mostly it's people who don't have direction and think that, this is something I like, I should just do this. And you got to want it so much more. I went to school where people learn to make video games, and I'm one of the, there were people there who put in the hard work and found their way, but there weren't a lot of success stories that came out of it. And it's because people think, oh, I like to play games, but making them is completely different. It's the same with wrestling.
It's a different beast, exactly.
Yeah.
Watching wrestling and performing are two completely different things. And
not only from like a physical standpoint, just as like a side thing, before I started wrestling, I lost 40 pounds, I lost 40 pounds in about 4 months. And like I started taking it very seriously. From a physical standpoint, you have to be okay with being in the worst pain you've ever been in your life.
For sure.
For 12 months or 12 weeks straight, at least.
And for the rest of your life, to be honest.
And wanting to do it. And coming, there was a lot of days where I'd go to training and I said, I'm not going to do any bumps today because I'm so hurt I will die. And then I just end up having a regular practice because I just wanted it that much. And I've seen people quit. And you have to really, really want it and dedicate yourself and have the time to put in and energy.
Yeah. And it will, if you want it that bad and you want to get to the top, you got to dedicate your life to it. You
got to want to train with 4 broken ribs.
Well, that, and you're literally Friday, Saturday, Sunday, kiss them goodbye. They're all dedicated to wrestling after the fact, after your training, if you want it. That's the thing. Guys like us, we've done it for a few years. We've had our wear and tear on our bodies. I've actually dealt with probably like 5 or 6 minorly serious injuries, which is no fun for anyone. And then you start asking yourself, why do I even do this? But you do it because you love it, just like anything else. And if you have that drive and that passion, I say go for it. And you know what? There's no shame in trying. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But you don't want to be that guy who grows old and says, I wish I tried being a pro wrestler when I was younger. And that was a big thing for me. I didn't want to grow old and think, well, I could have done it. Now I know that I can do it. And I know that it's very hard and that maybe I don't have a future in it. I've come to that realization, and that's fine. But it's still something I like to do. It's something I enjoy doing on the independent level. I get to do whatever I want pretty much. I don't have anybody telling me what to do, and I get to be myself out there in a different kind of way, and it's liberating in a way. So, if you have the means, if you're dedicated, absolutely do your Google searches. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say.
And while we appreciate the question, Ryan Reddington, we think that a lot of people want to hear more about SpongeBob.
Indeed.
I think that's a good answer that we had.
So let's
talk about season 2. All right.
Upcoming season 2.
Do you hear that?
What is
Oh,
what is
shoot, I
that
think
noise?
that's the shell phone. Oh.
A message?
It looks like we have a video that was sent in from one of our listeners. Could be risky, but I say let's just play it.
Let's
right
see.
now
Let's see what's
listen.
going on. Who is it?
Okay.
It's not Ryan.
It's our friend Mitch.
Oh, Mitch Hewitt.
Yeah, Mitchell Hewitt.
Also a professional wrestler, trained at House of Truth.
Well, let's see what Mitch has to say.
You striped sweater butt plugs got another goddamn thing coming. If you think you can just mention my name on your program, not once, no, but twice. Twice. I'm a loyal listener. I'm listening every goddamn week. And this is the thanks I get. This is the fucking thanks I get.
Potty mouth.
He's so hurt.
Everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. Whether it be over here, whether it be going up to the school, whether it be going to the 7-Eleven. I got the cashier. I got everyone asking me, hey, Mitch,
That face.
you gonna let them striped sweater boys talk about you like that? Huh? No. Fuck no, I'm not. No. No. I'm not. I've waited patiently for my invitation to the Striped Sweater podcast. Huh? Where is it? Lost in the mail? Little snail mail? Hasn't gotten to me yet? For weeks and weeks you put out this show. I haven't gotten my goddamn invitation. Yet people are on there not once, but twice?
They're all
Horse
Zach's
shit.
friends.
That's horse shit. You guys are up to your eyebrows in horse shit. So right now, I'm issuing the challenge. I'm putting it out there. Either I come find you, or
Or what, Mitch?
I get that invitation to come on to the SpongeBob podcast and explain
SpongeBob?
myself and get to watch a fun episode of SpongeBob that I love, because I like fun too. I'm a fun guy.
He's a mushroom.
So either throw me on your program or keep looking over your goddamn shoulder, because I'm coming for you.
back there, right?
Whether it be sooner or later, I'm going to come for you.
He'll come for you, Daddy.
Fucking, you fuckface. Fuckface and shithead.
You're the shit.
Yeah, who's who there, Mitch?
Holy cow.
How dare you come on our show and talk to us like that? That foul mouth? Me and Zach have never said a cuss word in our lives. You know what, Mitch Hewitt? Season 2 starts soon, pal. And very soon, there will be new episodes of the Striped Sweater podcast where we watch fun episodes of SpongeBob. So consider yourself invited, pal. You name the time, whatever episode you want. Get your ass here to the Striped Sweater Deluxe Podcast Suite located just above Gohan and Finn's grooming facility. You know where it's at. I know you do.
Listen here, Mitchell. I have known you since you first stepped foot into the House of Truth Wrestling School. And you think you can just talk to me and my co-host like that?
No.
And you think that we just let anyone on the show? There's a rigorous amount of testing we do to make sure that people are a right fit for this show. And you think you can just send us a video and we're just going to put you on because you're so entertaining and everybody loves you and we're just horrible at our jobs and you're so hurt. Well, guess what? I don't give a hoot what you think.
Don't give a honk.
If you really are the man that you say you are, then you will make it your goal. You will make it your routine to find us, get on the podcast, and prove to the world that you're more than just a long-haired, tattooed punk, and that you're an entertaining lover of SpongeBob and his friends, including Sandy, Patrick, and Mr. Krabs. Okay? So,
That being said, Mitchell,
if that is your real name,
prepare to die. Your hair.
haha,
No, for real, Mitch. Consider yourself invited. You're a piece of shit and I hate you. You fuckface. I've never swore in my life. I never said a cuss word before today. You brought it out of me.
congrats. I hope you're happy. We'll see you in season 2. All right, so season 2.
That must be Finn and Gohan, the dogs or the people who own the
the salon.
The salon downstairs.
Season 2. We're just going to go over some of the episodes. We're running out of time, but I think it's good to just give you a small preview. We're just going to name off certain things that are to come, so do as you will. We're going to start off with, first of all, Your Shoes Untied and Squid's Day Off.
What? Big.
Super, super, super good.
Big.
All right? We're going to get into the Sunday episode with the bad breath. We got Big Pink Loser, you know? Great. Bubble Buddy, Dying for Pie. Oh, my God. I can't wait.
Dying for Pie is a favorite of mine.
Yes, and so is
Wormy. I love
Yes.
Wormy. That's a sleeper hit for me.
Imitation Crabs, right? Give me the formuoli.
Ravioli, give me the formuoli.
Pretty Patties.
Squidville, yo.
Grandma's Kisses.
We got the Christmas special.
Yes. We have Survival of the Idiots, where they just mess with Sandy when she's sleeping.
Gary betrays SpongeBob and goes to live with Patrick.
Dumped. Yeah.
Squirrel jokes, where Sandy is the butt of all of SpongeBob's hilarious stand-up comedy jokes.
Hi, Kevin.
Oh
We have I'm
my.
Your Biggest Fanatic. And I've already talked it out with the man. We should try to get Kevin Calloway on for that one.
Oh, does he like that?
He would do it. I don't think he really...
Cares?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But he would do it. Smoking Peanut, Shanghai, Frankendoodle, Band Geeks, Krusty Love,
Sailor Mouth,
That
Jellyfish
one's for men.
Hunter, the Fry Cook Games. Season 2 is
Squid
going
on
to
Strike.
blow the lid off of what you thought you knew about SpongeBob and the Striped Sweater podcast. So do yourselves a favor, smash that subscribe button, smash that 5-star rating button, and smash that motherfrickin' like button on YouTube too. And also, Smash Brothers,
Yeah,
Smash Mouth,
Brothers.
Smash
Ing Pumpkins.
and Pumpkins. Yeah. That's it, y'all. So I have a question for you all. Hit us up at our email and let us know what you would do with a drunken sailor, because you never know.
This could be the last time that you're ever asked that question.
I know you all answer out loud to yourselves when you're listening to our podcast.
Yeah, it's like Dora. We should start doing, what would you do with a drunken sailor? Cool.
And I
I would love that.
think that does it here for Alexander Beardsley, for Zach Main.
Totally rad _ Zach. Totally rad _ Alex.
That would make sense, right? When we were a tag team. That was our name, the Totally Radicals. I'm all over the internet at Ashton Waganda, ASHTON
MISTAFYED.
We are on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter and the other thing, Instagram and Facebook. Hit us up. Follow us. Let's all be friends with each other.
CAMPFIRESONG song.
Yeah. ASHTONWAGA.
It'll help. It'll help. If you
You
just
just sing.
subscribe to our Patreon.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We appreciate you. Sorry that this was dumb, probably.
Bye. Oh, wait. We forgot to do this gag. Right at the end, since I just mentioned Patreon, if you're still listening, it would help us very much because we do have some bad equipment. I will show you. The TV that we used to record on has been punched.
Look at this shit.
This is a live video of it.
Look at this shit.
I punched it in virtual reality. I thought I had a dude and I was punching his head. I wasn't. I punched the TV and it broke.
He punched his super expensive TV and fucking broke it. So you need to buy us a new one, Patreon.
Well, you don't, but
but
if you'd like to see us,
you don't have to, but you should.
Yeah. Do you know how much content we're missing in that one area of the screen where it's really messed up?
I know. We have to like watch it on this little baby screen to make it so we can see everything.
We can't utilize all 65 inches of the TV. It's horrible. It's like we're living in hell. And that's it. Thanks, guys.
Later.